Merry Christmas. I'm sure we will. Madonna, I know you're going to have a great Christmas. 27 past 11, and it's the Bay FM. No, we're not playing Football League.
We're not.
Bay FM right across the bay we are. Now, Madonna, have you got some good plans for Christmas?
I do have some nice... Actually, this weekend on Sunday, we've got 2 parties coming up.
Wow,
and I had to knock back a third one. And this is the thing, I think everyone's a bit crazy busy at this time of year, aren't they?
Yeah,
Just
I think
lots
so.
of stuff going on.
Well, this Sunday, I'm going up to Toowoomba because we have a Turner family with all the kids and everything. It's too hard.
Yes.
So we do on the Sunday before Christmas, and we all get together, brothers, sisters, the whole lot. It's fantastic. My mother is 96 years old.
Wow.
And you know what I take up for her?
So she's Mrs. Turner?
She is Mrs. Turner.
Merry Christmas,
Correct.
Mrs. Turner.
Very good. And I always take up a kilo of prawns because she loves them.
Oh, nice.
Just loves
I
them.
thought you were going to say a kilo of scotch.
Oh, yeah, well, I'll look after that.
Speaking of scotch, did you hear this week on the news there was some little old love in Scotland who is like 107 or 109 or so. She's the oldest woman in Scotland.
Yeah.
And they asked her what her secret to living so old was. And she said keeping men out of her life, which I thought was hilarious. So apparently that was her secret.
I thought
Maybe she had a bad
scotch.
experience.
Oh, she might have had a bad experience.
She probably
yes.
did.
So what other things have we got to keep an eye on in summer and also Christmas and New Year?
So they also looked at people who do exercise on Christmas Day. So the backyard footy, the backyard cricket, the backyard. And those people tend to eat 25% less calories.
Wow.
Isn't that interesting?
Because they work it off, or they just physically
I think
do not
they're
eat
physically away from the food. Because once
Right.
again, if the food's, I'm talking personally, but if the food's in front of me, I'm going to eat it. I'm a shocker. I really am. So very much, it's good. My daughter-in-law's the same. Haha.
Yeah. And I guess that we should get on to saying if you're going out to the beach or whatever, lying around the pool for your Christmas day, just make sure you don't get too much sun.
Yeah, be sun smart. Obviously, the sun's good for us, but it's that filtered sun morning and night. It's not meant to be in the middle of the day for hours on end.
Yeah.
Like that is just not what we can't do it here in Australia.
No.
Yeah.
Otherwise, you'll be peeling. I can remember when I was a child, actually.
Yeah, it's the
My
cancer
brothers
I'm
and
thinking
sisters,
about.
We'd all pay 20 cents to get someone to peel our back.
Oh,
And we
really?
would definitely get sunburned just so we peel.
Ew.
Oh, I can't believe those days.
How interesting.
Well, it was there.
Well, then there's, because there's things like vitamin D, which we've chatted about heaps. Funnily enough, when you do have enough vitamin D in your body, it actually works as a natural sunscreen.
Ah.
So, so that's sort of one of those weird ironies. We get vitamin D from the sun, as well as things like eggs and oily fish and, so it's often from meaty foods and that sort of thing.
Yeah.
But basically, so high levels of vitamin D in the body actually help us to have good sunscreen. So if we're someone who does get sunspots and stuff, maybe it's an idea, once a year to double check your vitamin D levels with your doctors because they should be high,
Yeah. So, and if they're not,
No, then
it
it's easy to get vitamin D into your supplement wise
It
and
is.
sunshine wise. And I know a lot of people are really fearful of the sun, but I'm talking, more, and especially, I think it was 27 degrees when I got up this morning. It was pretty warm.
Pretty warm.
So, you only need 10 minutes in that sun, to sort of get a good level.
Well, see, I'm a person that goes out in the sun.
Yeah.
That includes mowing lawn, gardening, just going for a walk.
Yeah.
Whatever. I love sun.
Yes.
And I go out in it. But I still have a deficiency in vitamin D.
Interesting. We do lose our vitamin D receptor sites as we get older.
What you're saying?
So
I'm
that
old.
means
You're
that...
saying I'm old.
No! As we get older, vitamin D is also obviously involved in immune system issues and dementia and stuff like that as well.
Yeah.
And actually, there was some cool research with dementia that's come out in the last week or two as well. So one of them, again, I think we mentioned some preliminary studies on this, but the high intensity exercise, which I know people are often thinking, well, I don't want to do anything that makes me sweat, but sweating is really important. And part of what it does is build some muscle mass. The higher muscle mass we have in our body, the less likelihood of dementia. The other thing that they've there's just been a study released this week was about urea levels in the body. So when we start building up urea levels in the bloodstream, it's because the kidneys aren't functioning. And two of the biggest reasons for kidneys not functioning are blood pressure and diabetes. So and the medications that we get for them as well can impact on the kidneys long term if we're not careful, which is why people need to make sure they get regular blood tests so the doctors can keep an eye on their kidney and liver functions, because if you don't know, you don't know, and then you might be causing damage without meaning to.
If you don't have blood tests, then really the doctor, anyone, they find it hard to deliver a message to you because you're crook or something.
It's true. And doctors, you can imagine, they need to see your regular blood test, whether it's once a year or whatever. And I know people on, say, warfarin blood thinners, they need to have them more regularly, and some drugs cause damage, so they need to do it regularly. It's, that's a cheap, easy thing to do, getting your blood work done. So you might as well do it if the doctor says to do it. But I'm thinking the urea, what the study showed was that the levels need to be about 4 times the amount in the bloodstream, so 4 times what it should be, in order for the research to show that it's being linked to dementia. So because we've got that risk of doubling our dementia levels by 2060 in Australia, so it's not great. So that's something easy that once again is in every blood test a doctor will ever do, that you can keep an eye on.
There you go.
So I think, so high intensity exercise, and I think for people who can't exercise, you just do the best you can. Whether it's aqua aerobics, whether it's, walking on a treadmill, whether it's, Gardening, good old gardening.
Good old gardening.
Gardening works my muscles. Oh my gosh, every time I do it, I'm sort of feeling it for a few days, and I think, who are these people who love gardening? I don't understand it.
It's very therapeutic.
It is therapeutic.
Very therapeutic. Well, let's take a little break while we're talking about Christmas things you've got to be aware of. So I've got something here, and I thought you are going to love this because you